Hello and welcome back. We are here with no one else than Stefan Juinski. You see how I'm like, whoop whoop. How are you, Stefan?
I'm doing great. How are you guys today?
Doing pretty great.
Hype the shit, dude. Hype the shit.
Yeah.
Good. It's a
Let's
good
get
day.
let's get right into it. We've got so much to talk about, and the big point of discussion here is our boy Centurion. Before we get into the actual update, I want to start from the beginning because that's just the way I am. Okay, I want to understand when we talk about the Centurion, this update that's coming to the players next week. Maybe you can give us a little bit of background, like from the get go, what did you guys try to accomplish? When setting out for I want to call it maybe a rework slash update for this character.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's been a bit of a journey to get to this point for the Centurion. Basically, when we play this character on live, usually the kind of problems that we get into are we would like this character to feel powerful. It always kind of does when it's doing its thing. We'd like it to be able to do its thing a little bit more often. At the same time, we don't like it to be quite a character who's like, I'm going parry fishing and I'm going to gank you into an interactive cutscene. So it's a matter of like, can we keep the good stuff? Can we neuter the bad stuff, basically?
Gotcha. And so that being said, so that takes us maybe to our first testing grounds with Centurion. That was in season 3 of year 3. So that was for the Jormungandr, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a historical buff when it comes to the For Honor's history. But yeah, so can you take us through, the initial step of going into that testing grounds and what you guys were trying to accomplish then?
Totally. Basically, it was a matter of like analyzing first what are the problems that this character has on live. When you look at Centurion on live, Centurion doesn't have a lot of 1v1 tools, for example. The late chain is 600 and 700 ms. Zone can't be feinted, so it's even a parry on hit, which is crazy. Quick grab doesn't force a reaction or really do anything, so the purpose is very mysterious at this point. Legion kick can't really kick somebody who's paying attention to you. And then in group fight scenarios, it's a different problem. It's this character is really good at ganking even through revenge, the pins and so on, even beat revenge armor, which is inconsistent with the rest of the rules. So it's got a very strange goal right now in either 1v1 or group fight games. So we're trying to like pull away that that style and trying to fix some of those problems and give it a bit of a new role in the package while still maintaining the identity. That's the important part. So what we did in testing rounds, just to actually answer your question instead of just meander off to wherever I'm going, we tried a number of things. We saw that we got rid of like quick grab, for example, and we put jab in there. We made jab feintable, zone feintable, all kinds of stuff. This was really good because these pieces actually worked well. The stuff that wasn't really working well is what players identified on the testing ground, which is cool. In their feedback, we'd see things like they could roll away from jab after a light hit, for example, for free with nothing Centurion could do. That sucks. Obviously, there shouldn't be 100% escape options for people. On the other side of the thing, even when it was working for the Centurion, we find that the opponent still found it annoying because even though there wasn't a cutscene in the testing grounds, the amount of times you got hit by the punch when it had stun property meant you had like flashbang in your face, boom, 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 constantly. So it's a matter of trying to adjust the number of these things. Other items were stuff like wall splat didn't give any real beneficial punish. So how do you get to your Eagle's Talon or whatever? And there are a number of bugs with things like Lion's Roar, Haymaker, and so on. And the last thing they identified was like, hey, Legion Kick still is useless in this version. So basically, that's what came out of the testing ground feedback.
Okay, well, and that I guess takes us into today, and what changes you guys made to address that feedback. So I guess you can go into the details of like, okay, now we've went through that initial phase of testing grounds. We've gotten the feedback. Next week players will be playing something. Let's dive into those details.
Totally, yeah, exactly. I mean, coming out of that testing ground, basically it was the amount of time to look at the feedback and figure out how do we adjust each of these things. So I guess let's hit it without further ado, right?
Let's take a look here.
Cool. So sent, here we go. All right, so top to bottom, I'll kind of give a little bit so the people who haven't seen the testing grounds can see a little bit of like what is the stuff that was good then and we're keeping, and then what is the new stuff. So we'll kind of go. Zone attack, anyway, is now feintable, obviously. This is what people want. This is what people need. And it doesn't make Centurion sad to actually hit the move and get parried afterwards. So yes, cool. Second attack is feintable, and third attack is feintable. And you'll see, okay, that was the first, feinting on the second attack there, feinting on the third attack there, and now we're going to target swap.
What's that?
Yeah, Clarissa loves her target swaps, doesn't she?
You know, when you got a gank or when you're in a 1vx situation, you gotta learn how to target swap. But, you know, what's really cool about this one is it gives the players more control and it makes the zone attack more viable because, you know, you can, instead of letting it rip and then watching you be like, oh no, they're gonna block it, easy parry, I'm dead. Now they can swap or they can feint it. Correct.
Exactly, so he's a little more unpredictable in this case, so that's going to be good for him, which would be cool. Okay, after that, charged heavy finisher, as we saw in the testing grounds, is feintable, even once it reaches the unblockable portion. So we'll see a video for this one as well. And we'll see the character lets it rip first, I guess, followed by feint. Yep, you saw the unblockable there. So the VFX and the unblockable icon, the fire and so on, all up here. And there's the guard break feint as well.
So these are, with the change, these are 3 options that players can use to, you know, have some mix-ups into their combat, right?
Exactly. I mean, on live, because you can't feint that, once you see that, you're like, okay, not much you can do about that. I'll just punish him for trying to hit me. And here, now it's actually going to be a threatening option. That's going to be super cool.
Yeah, I think this one's a good tool, especially when you want to condition your opponent. So it's like, you know, when you want to keep doing it, like feint, and then eventually maybe throw out the guard break at the end, or maybe let it rip because they might think you're gonna feint it or whatnot. So it's really
you have choice.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be cool. All right, let's keep going through this. Jab. Okay, as we saw in the testing grounds, it is now feintable, but we made a number of timing options here, timing changes to this in the branchings and so on. So if you do jab confirmed light and then you attempt to jab, it's going to work. You have options to actually hit that or feint guard break that and so on. Same if you go to heavy and feint guard break and so on. These feints into guard break and such are actually going to work now, which is super cool. Besides that, we've tried to reduce the frustration of being punched so often. We've removed the stun property on this, so you're not going to get flashbanged constantly. Jab is also target swappable as you're charging it. For Clarissa, wherever she is over here, personally.
Yeah.
Great point.
And we added,
that's a great point.
And we added an uninterruptible stance just before the hit, similar to, say, Warden's shoulder bash. Let's keep going through a little bit. Light attacks. Okay, so second light attack used to be 600 ms. Third light attack used to be 700 ms. Can anyone imagine what this attack actually looks like on live? I know I can't. So we've made it 500 here. And now you can see it. Probably for the first time in a year or 2 years, which would be cool. So hopefully trying to bring this to parity with everybody else. And just give you a few more options after getting a confirmed jab, or for confirmed light on something. Cool. So let's put it all together there. On the next one, we've removed quick throw entirely. So again, quick throw threatens a guard break. However, the other options that this character has are light or heavy or whatever, right? So if you know that, you know you don't have to dodge anything after you get hit by something. You can just stare, try to block the light, and if he does a quick throw, you just tech it. So it's not a scary move. Instead, we've replaced it by jab. So all through this chain now, you're going to be terrified by like, is it going to be jab? Is it going to be fully charged jab? Is it going to be jab, feint, guard break? Is it going to be whatever, right? Light or heavy as well. Okay, cool. I think we've got a video to show lights and jabs all put together here. So light into jab, light into jab, light into fully charged jab.
Wow.
Getting a beating over there.
Yep, so as you can see, there's a variety of things you can try at this point, and you'll see, I think Centurion's even trying to mix it up even further. So it should be some exciting stuff. What else did we change after that? Parry counter. So one of the things identified by players in the testing ground was when you get a wall splat off of parry counter, it's really not very satisfying. You didn't get the charge heavy very often, and you didn't get anything else. So here what we're trying to do is allow jab after the parry counter instead of kick, which means on wall splat you can get the fully charged jab for free. So this should bring you to Ego's Talon, at least through some set. So that's pretty cool. Centurion's still going to get a couple options to do big damage on parry punishes. So we're kind of hoping the identity will still be maintained, at the same time removing the extremely long parry into, kick into fully charged jab, or fully charged heavy, into fully charged jab, into Eagle's Fury, into everything else in the universe, and trying to bring it down to a set rate. So good reward, reasonable amount of time. That's the idea there.
Basically, you want to make sure that you're not near a wall.
Still, I mean, Centurion's always going to be friends with walls. That's for sure.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, if you want to be extreme, you could try like threatening a jab, feint guard breaking at a ledge or something like that. If you're going for broke, I don't know. Try some stuff. All right, let's keep going through this. Legion Kick, another thing identified as not good enough on live. So before it was 600 MS, we've switched it to 500 MS. This is more in line with like Conk Warlord, that kind of stuff. So we expect forward Legion Kicks to be threatening your 1v1 opponent. Similarly, you see on the movement side, the Centurions had a lot of attacks that really didn't have a lot of range. He's got a T-Rex arm syndrome kind of style. And at the same time, his forward strafe was really, really quite slow. And this meant a lot of times people could kind of backwalk or backspace him really easily. So we're trying to alleviate that. And I think we can show a super quick video on the Zanhu trying to escape and not succeeding, at least in strafe versus strafe. So I would recommend if you're Centurion in 1v1, keep your stick forward, and then you'll be happy.
Okay, well, this is good because, he's meant to be played as a close distance kind of character, so hopefully...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get up
good.
close, bully them as possible for this guy now. So that's pretty cool. And then the last change we've made there, Eagle's Fury, that's a dodge forward heavy, is now 800 MS. It used to be 1,000, and we slightly increased the range. So again, it's another step of like, hey, can we keep you close, basically, is the intention here. And that's roughly what's going on with Centurion.
That's absolutely amazing. I know that this has been a long time coming for a lot of players, and obviously with the delay, we haven't had the chance to speak about this beforehand. So now we do get the chance. I'm just wondering, and as maybe people that are mains of the Centurion, how does this affect their play style? Does his role change? Do they have to get used to a new role within 4v4 situation, 2v1s, whatever it may be? How does his play style adapt after these changes?
I think it's going to be really interesting, actually. So in 1v1s, basically we saw, hey, play extremely defensively, go parry fishing, and then punish like heck when you can. I mean, you're still going to be able to parry like everybody else. That's not taken away. The extreme benefits are removed. The cutscene is removed. So the uninteractive element is going to be gone. You're going to see stuff like, hey, if you can jab it, you can dodge, right? You're not going to be like full heavy into full punch into Eagle's Talon. you're going to have dodge opportunities in the midpoint of this. So that's going to be really cool. At the same time, before you really didn't have options to initiate combat or to sustain combat once you got it going. Now you can. You can walk forward, Legion kick them. They're going to have to dodge at some point. If you do, empty dodge forward into guard break is going to work. Once you hit with Legion kick, you get your light. You're going to start up your whole like, is it jab, is it feint guard break, is it whatever. That's going to be really cool. And the longer you can keep this going, because it's like quite a good set of options and powerful at this point, it's going to allow Centurion to fight and press buttons, and that's going to be the best part. It's going to be high risk, but it's going to be good for him. At the same time, in 4s, Centurion's job really was like try to gank the crap out of someone who's about to get revenge, and don't really allow them to survive through revenge, which is niche and quite annoying, honestly. So that part's going to be gone. At the same time, improving the 1v1 aspect and stuff like the kick and so on will mean you can get the kill. And it's going to be really interesting to see how does this character evolve in group fights or not. Have to put it in the hands of the best players and see what happens.
Well, the good news is that they don't have to wait long, because it starts June 11th, and that's when the update will be available for our boy Centurion. And that's not even all. We've got another surprise when it comes to our boys. So we'll see that later on, and you guys got a little tease at the intro. So that being said, there are a couple of other changes and updates in terms of fight. Why don't we get right into that?